Morning, Janine. So neck circles to start. You can do this seated or standing. Find a comfortable position. Remember to pull those shoulders down away from you. And we're going to do full range of motion neck circles, 5 each direction. So pulling the chin down, nice, slow, controlled. Making sure you're looking up, kind of pushing that chin up to the sky. And then as we think we're going through our range of motion, really focus on being intent about your movement and where you're trying to reach your chin, your ear, your neck to. And I'm definitely feeling a little bit stiff to start the morning, so these are really good ways to start. No sound. Can you hear me now? My sound is up pretty high. Well, keep going. Let me know if anyone else is having trouble with sound. Again, nice and slow. Keep going. After you get to your 5, then we're going to switch directions. Go ahead, other side. Nice and slow. Good and slow. Yeah, my sound's all the way up, so. Good, let's go one more. Again, nice and slow. Okay, great. All right, then we're gonna do spinal rolls. So standing for this, tucking the chin, rolling, trying to think about one vertebra at a time. As I'm going down, really tucking the ribs down, nice and slow, kind of lengthen through the bottom, knees are nice and soft. And then I'm gonna tuck from my low back, one vertebra at a time as I'm rolling myself back up. This is that extension all the way at the top, and then tucking for flexion. Nice and slow. And tucking the tailbone. Ribs are tucked nice and tight. Everything's rounded out in flexion and full extension. Keep going. Again, just thinking somebody's walking their fingertips down your back, and that's the spinal area you're working on. Two more. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Big open. Last one. And tuck and roll. All right, we're moving to shoulder circles. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this kneeling because my ceilings are low, but you can do this standing. So nice straight arm, shoulders down real tight. And I'm working on my range of motion, trying not to lean or utilize other muscles. Everything's really tight though, super tight in the core, trying to hold your positioning, just that like nice swimmer arm. Trying to keep my shoulders square. One more, and then we'll switch directions. Okay, switch back first. Make sure you're rotating when you need to. Pushing back, rotation, big sweep. 2, tightening everything else, so just that shoulder's getting the range of motion. 3, 4, and 5. Switching arms, same thing. Good and tight, shoulders down, nice tight body, up and around. 2, tightening everything. 3, 4, 5. Switch directions. Back first, as far high as you can, then rotating. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we're back to standing. Hands crossing over the chest. We're going to do thoracic circles. So thoracic again is ribs and above. So I'm going to kind of do, I'm rounding out, rolling, opening, squeezing the shoulders down and back, rounding. As I come around, I'm squeezing the shoulders down and back, and then rounding out again. 3, just getting range of motion through the shoulder blades. 4, as well as the spine and those ribs, and switch directions. 2, trying to not recruit your hips. Trying to stay stable through the glutes and the low back. 4, 1 more. And 5. Okay, last one is hip circles. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on to the wall just for balance and stuff like that. You can go ahead and grab onto something or just use you don't need anything at all. So we're going to come up with a flexion of the hip. I'm going to come out to external rotation, internal knee down, foot up, and then extension is just back to start. Okay, flexion, external rotation, internal rotation, extension. Flexion as high as you can. I'm trying to keep my hips square to the ground. And again, I'm focusing that ball and socket joint, not hitching, so I'm trying not to lean. 1 more. Now switching directions. Extension, heel up, knee down, alternating, and flexion. Extension, internal rotation, external rotation, flexion. Knee down. Oh, that was backwards. Knee down, then up, then over. Look at that again. Knee down, knee up. 1 more. Out to the side, knee down, knee up, and in. Okay, other side. Starting with flexion, external rotation, internal rotation, extension. Again, I'm trying to keep my hips square. So you just kind of find your end range without recruiting tilting of the hips or that back. 4, 1 more. 5, resetting, extension. Okay, extensions here. I'm gonna go knee down, heel up, internal rotation, external rotation, flexion. Knee down, heel up, ooh, this way, to this way, to up. Knee down, heel up, swap, in. Let's go ahead and 1 more. And up. All right, we're just gonna do a little shakeout, so a little side to side hip circles or movement back and forth, since those glutes should probably be on fire. And then we're gonna go ahead and add aside, stretch. So we are going to go ahead and go through a series with a PVC pipe or a stick of some sort. I just unscrewed my broom and I'm using my broom handle. So everybody should have something around the house to use. A broom, a mop, a pipe, a shovel, whatever you've got, go ahead and grab that right now. We're going to go through the next series with our stick. And then some big hip circles. All the way forward, all the way back. 3, 4, 5 switch directions. So if all you did every single day was joint range of motion, you would feel way better and you would improve your joint control, range of motion, all of that fun stuff. So even just this once a day would be awesome. Okay, grab your pipe, your stick, your broomstick, whatever you got. So again, I'm just gonna do this kneeling because low ceilings, but you don't need to, you can just do this standing. Okay, so I'm gonna go pass-throughs. Arms are wide. The goal is to keep my arms straight. So just remember to listen to your body, don't force it. So I'm just gonna show you tight core, going up and around. Maybe you stop here. Maybe you can come all the way down. But I'm going through this range of motion without bending my elbows and forcing it, or without arching my back. So the wider you go, the easier this is. If you have that flexibility or range of motion, you can go narrower with your hands. Again, breathing, big exhales as you open. Stop wherever you need to stop. But feeling through that chest and getting that flexion in the shoulders is really what we're focusing on. Again, all while not arching your low back. So my core is engaged like I'm holding that little crunch. Okay, now I'm going to focus on one arm at a time. So I go to the side and back, and then around the other side. Then you switch directions. So kind of like that figure 8. Maybe you only come back a little bit behind the head. Go slow. Really lean, just kind of like push in to that chest area. Those side to sides, you get a lot more through the pecs, the chest muscles. 9. Okay, that's about 10 of each. Next, we're gonna go into good morning. So you're gonna put this on your shoulders. You can have whatever's comfortable for your arms. Okay, I'm going to tuck the ribs, push my hips back, fold myself as far as I can, squeeze those glutes to lift myself up. Just a little hamstring warm up. If you have trouble in your hinges, recruiting your low back, or not feeling it in your hamstrings or hips, what you can do is put that pipe on your tailbone and on your head, and as I hinge, my tailbone and my head always touches the pipe, as well as my low back is pushed into that pipe. Not sure if you can see it. So I'm nice and flat, I'm not arched or rounded. Okay, so that's just a little practice you guys can do to improve your hinge. Okay, next time we go down, we're gonna hold and we're gonna do rotation, rotation. I'm bending one knee at a time. You can always walk your feet wider if that's comfortable. Nine. One more. Back to center. Come on up. Okay, we're gonna move to windmills with your pipe. Wide feet. We're gonna have wide arms over the head, just like we would with our regular windmills. I'm gonna cross my body. You can bend your knees as needed. I'm gonna plant my pole to the outside of my foot, pause, big inhale here, and exhale, rotate the torso up to the sky. Inhale, back up. Exhale. Inhale, load, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Keep going your own pace. The further out you plant this post, the more you'll feel the stretch. And again, knees are bent as you need them to be. And the further you pull your body towards the ground, the more you'll feel that stretch as well. Let's go ahead and one more other side. Okay, we're gonna move to a little shoulder work. So I'm gonna start with this behind my back. One arm reaches down my back, the other arm reaches up. So the first thing you're doing is trying to walk your hands as close together as possible. Once you get that position, I'm going to open my chest, big chest, so I'm not slumped over. So if you can't do that, go ahead and drop your grip a little bit. Core is engaged, and now I'm just gonna slide, like you're cleaning, up, pulling up, pushing down. But I'm really pulling with both hands. So top hand pulls up, bottom hand pulls down. Top hand pulls up, bottom hand pulls down. So I'm just going up and down. Trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together the whole time. Okay, pause, switch hands. You'll probably feel different in one side versus the other. Get that grip first, squeeze those shoulder blades so my elbows are back and opening out. Okay, and then you are doing that up and down motion. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Slowly release, coming all the way back. Okay, this one's sometimes a little tricky for people, but it's just an internal rotation. So you're gonna hold the post up from the bottom, doesn't have to be exactly on the bottom. You're gonna let it fall outside, right to the outside of my elbow. You're gonna grab right underneath that elbow, and I'm gonna use it as a lever. So my elbow's a lever, I'm externally rotating the shoulder. Be sure you're not leaning. Okay, I want my elbow out 90 degrees, straight in front of my shoulder, while I'm trying to pull open my forearm. Big broad chest, shoulders down and back, and you can just go right to the end range and hang out a little bit. 3 breaths, 4 breaths, and 5. Come out slowly. Starting on the other hand, hold it up, let it fall out, right at the outside of your elbow, grabbing underneath, standing tall, broad chest, externally rotate. Elbow points forward, 90 degrees off the elbow. Good, slowly come on out. Okay, last one, we're just gonna go ahead and put this back on our back and do torso rotations. So I want you to bend your knees. Don't allow your knees to rotate, just my torso. So again, we're thinking hips and above, or above the hips is what's rotating, not our knees. That's again thoracic rotation, not lumbar. 10. Okay, go ahead and put this to the side. You're probably going to need it a little later. And we're going to go ahead and drop down to tabletop position. So tabletop, we'll go through a few cat-cows, and then we'll find our neutral spine. So arching, looking up. Exhale, round down, separate your shoulder blades, chin to the chest. Let's just go for 3. 2. 3. Find neutral. We're going to extend our right leg behind us. Hips are square, so pull that right hip down. Okay, opposite arm, left arm is forward. We're going to hold, belly stays tight, so don't let your low back sink. Pull the belly in, and we're going to go out to the side. Try to keep my hips square. And back. Keep pulling that right hip down, stabilizing through the core. 2, 3, 4, last one. Come on back down. Other side, extend your left leg, square your hips, pull your belly button in, low back is flat. Other arm is forward, shoulders down and back. Lift, hold, side. 1, keep that core engaged, nice long neck. 2, 3, if you need to slide your foot, slide it on the ground. 4, and 5. Come back to rest. We're just going to rock, bring your hands further underneath you. We're going to rock forward for that wrist stretch. Rock. Fingertips are nice and wide. 3, 4, 5. Plank position. I'm going to bring my right leg underneath my body and sink my hip down towards the ground. You can just totally rest it, kind of like a cobra stretch, but my leg is extended through. Back, other leg goes through, drop. So you should feel that stretch through that low back right there. Come back up. So I'm kind of pulling my hip back and trying to push my left hip forward. Last one each side. Okay, and then just go ahead and rest. Back to tabletop, hands walk close, and one more time. Little wrist stretches. Okay, tuck under, palms down, palms face up, and now we're rocking back to get the forearms here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop your elbows towards the ground. So now just my knuckles are down, and I'm dropping those elbows down. And we're just going to hang here for 5, 4, 3. Try to force your fingertips towards your forearms. And 5. Come on up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into our 90-90 stretch. So we'll get warm there a little bit, and then we're going to do a little bit different stuff today. So 90-90. 90 degrees at the hip, 90 degrees at both knees. Toes are flexed towards the shins. So I'm just going to warm up a little bit by rotating. If you need to, put your hands behind you. Feet stay pretty much stationary, and I'm just trying to drop my knees back and forth. So internal rotation in one leg, external rotation in the other. I guess hip, not just leg, hip motion. If this is easy or you want a little bit more of a challenge, you're trying to stay tall. Of course, you'll slide a little bit, no big deal. 4. Let's go one more down and back. Now we're just going to add a fold each time you rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one right here. And 6. Okay, I'm gonna face you. So we're still in our 90-90. Now we're gonna do a little bit of control in this position. So you're, again, tall and strong. If you need to use your arms, go ahead and do that. I'm going to lift my back leg up and straighten it out. I'm going to lift my front leg up and straighten it out. Now I'm basically switching positions. So lift all the way back on the left, lift, externally rotate. Back leg lifts and straightens. Front leg lifts and straightens. Now switching, lift all the way back, lift, and in. Okay, back leg first. Lift, straighten, lift, straighten. Same leg all the way back and in. Back leg first. So really I'm trying to control through the joint as well as trying not to lean, but of course we're all going to lean a little bit to start with. Let's go front leg first this time. Front leg, back leg. Okay, left leg all the way back, front leg, rotate. We're going front leg first. Open, open. Right leg all the way back, front leg, back. Okay, let's go ahead and just do one more each side. Back, or front leg first, back leg, all the way back, and back. Okay, last one. Sweet. Okay, we're gonna go into a little straddle, or I'm sorry, hurdle. So one leg comes in, one leg is extended out. I'm gonna start with a reach up and over, so really focusing on that side position, so lengthening through the low back. 1, 2, 3. Come out of it. You're gonna rotate your whole body towards that extended leg. Hands behind you, brace your core. We're gonna lift for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and fold. I always recommend grabbing underneath the calf just to kind of help lengthen the spine, and then pull yourself a little bit more into flexion. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. 3 breaths here. Back up tall, hands behind you, brace the core, strong leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Inhale and fold. 2, 3. Come on up. Switching sides. Okay, we're going to start, hips are forward, reaching up and over. 1, 2. Every breath, I'm trying to get a little deeper. 3. Coming up, squaring your hips towards the extended leg, broad chest, hands behind you, bracing, strong leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold a little deeper. One more breath. Back up, bracing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 more breaths. Come on up. Okay, last one, we're gonna go ahead and grab a wall. This is really good to do on a couch or a chair if you have that. So bring your mat, if it's a hard surface, bring your mat with you. I'm on concrete here, so I'm gonna double or triple up my mat. You also might want your PVC pipe. That'll just help you stay upright. You can kind of lean on it. So let me show you here what I'm up to. So I'm going to do it just this way, but I'm going to put my knee up against the wall as close as I can. My foot is going to be up. So it's going to look like this. And then my other leg is stepping through. So where my hand is, that's where the wall is. If you are forced to be like this, move your knee further away from the wall. So we want to be tall. So I'm going to put my knee down. My foot's up the wall. My other leg is stepping through. Okay, so from here, I'm now trying to flatten my low back, squeeze that butt cheek, and push your hip forward. So I'm long from my knee to my head. It's all one long line here. I'm not breaking at the hip. So if you are breaking at the hip, move your knee away from the wall. So we're going to hang out here. Basically, what I want you to think about is on the inhale, you're just holding. On the exhale, you're squeezing your butt and trying to push your hip forward more. Forward and down. Inhale, hold. Exhale, squeeze the butt and push. Inhale, you can kind of release and hold. Exhale, squeeze your butt and push. So again, you're feeling that through the quadricep all the way up through the hip. If you have a really tight hip flexor, you can add that same leg, same arm reach across. If you do this, you'll feel it a lot more through the psoas, up through the belly. So up to you. If you are on a wall, you want your toe flat. So my toe is pushed up against the wall, not tucked under. We still are going to be here for a little bit longer. Keep breathing. Again, this is good to kind of brace yourself on. If this is too much for your knee, you can just do a deep lunge. You could also do this standing, but this is going to help with that knee pain because you are stretching out that quadricep. 20 more seconds. So I'm timing this for about 1.5 minutes, even though we were probably here a little bit longer. That 90-second mark is really that minimum amount of time it takes for our body to physiologically change. Okay, the way I get out of this, I just go ahead and come down, and then I switch my feet, one knee back, one knee up. I'll wait till you guys get a little bit settled before I start our timer. So again, knee as far away to the wall as you need, or as close to the wall as you need. Tuck the pelvis under, low back is flat. I'm not arching my belly or my low back. Inhale, hold. Exhale, squeeze the butt and push. Again, all of this stretching, mobility work, you have to work at it. You don't just get it overnight. Just like every other aspect of fitness, we gotta really try hard in our breathing and our pushing. So kind of reaching those limits without actual pain. Uncomfortable, yes. I like to call it uncomfortability because it's super uncomfortable, but it's not a bad thing because we're not forcing anything or there's no pain as far as muscle pain. Just tightness that we're trying to get out. Doing great. Again, if you want to add that side stretch, you'll feel it up through that psoas. And that's always the same leg that's back. You're extending that entire side. We still got 20 seconds. And again, you can move around. Maybe you want to drop it down. Maybe you want to try to sit up taller to the wall. This is up to you. This is how you feel. A few more seconds. Okay, come on out. Let's just stand it up quickly. And I'll go ahead and move that out of the way. And just kind of shake it out. I want you to do a few squats just to see how those hips feel. So maybe you can drop it down to the bottom, back up, shake it out a little bit. So it should help with our squats, those hips, right? I don't have to push my hips back so much. I should be able to get to a good crease at the bottom of the position. Okay, we're gonna play around with our squat a little bit more and then we're gonna finish up on the wall again with something a little more pleasant. So we're dropping it down to quadruped, or tabletop to start with. You're gonna go ahead and tuck your toes under. I'm gonna float my knees, and I'm gonna walk forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna walk backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Walk your hands back. And we're going to try to get our heels to the ground. It's okay if they don't. But just kind of rock it back as far as you can. Rock it back forward slowly. Walk it out to that quadruped position. This time we're going into shoulder taps. One hand comes off. 1, 2. Try not to shift my hips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Walk it back. Working those ankle, heel cords. Slow. And walk it back forward. One more series here, quadruped. I'm going to walk sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walk it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walk it back. Those quads should be kind of on fire. And come on back to kneeling. Okay, we're going to finish up again on the wall. If you don't have a wall, you're going to want a wall for this one. So let me show you how to set up. And then you can go ahead and do this. This is just going to be our last one. We'll be here for about 2 minutes. So I'm, again, just bringing my mat over. So we're going to try to get our butt as close to the wall as we can. So the easiest way I recommend is sitting against the wall. I'm all the way up, rolling it down, and bringing my legs up. So I'm just going to do a straddle. Wide feet as I can, toes flex towards my shins, and I'm going to hang out here for 2 minutes. So you guys can go ahead and find your spot on the wall. If you can get your feet wide enough, you might be able to use your couch. But basically, I'm just here. What you can play around with is that active passive. So I'm going to actively squeeze my legs together, but nothing moves. And then I relax and maybe get a little wider. You can play around with that. You could just breathe and relax. Remember to kind of pull outwards, so external rotation at the hip. Toes are out towards the shins. Maybe an active 5, 4, just squeezing. 3, 2, 1, relax. That active passive tricks your body into thinking it can go further when it actually can, but it's kind of more of a physiological response. I'm going active again if anyone wants to join me. 1, 2, squeeze. 3, 4, 5, relax. We're a little over a minute. I'm going active. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. About 30 seconds left. You can go a little deeper, go ahead. Just try to think about relaxing through your groin and adductors. If these are really tight, this is probably a good one to do often, or maybe even foam roll the inner thigh. Okay, we're gonna go one more active. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax the rest of the time. All right, that's 2 minutes. So slowly, we're gonna bring our feet back together. And just leave those legs up, maybe shake it out a little bit. You guys can stay here as long as you want. But I love to finish up on the wall with a good 2-minute stretch.